All right, Bears Nation podcast preview episode. It is Monday Night Football. The Bears, unfortunately, for most of the nation, are back on primetime. All right, we know 90% of the people watching this game are unhappy that the Bears are on primetime, but we're there. And you never know. This has been a weird week in the NFL. So freaking weird. Commanders beat the Packers. The Panthers, who went on a fire sale this last week with PJ Walker, a former XFL quarterback, at the helm, beat the Buccaneers 21-3. If there were ever a week, Kellyn and Mike, for the Chicago Bears to pull off the upset, it's this week, and it's Bears Nation Podcast. Myself, Kellyn Lapka, alongside Kellyn Gerenstein, the man, the myth, the legend, and our guy Mike Hughes from the ASAP Network and the Mike on the Mike podcast. We're breaking down Bears-Pats, and we're going to find a way to get you super hyped up for this game with about an hour before kickoff. I know you may not be feeling it right now. You may be feeling a little bit low down on the team. You know, it's been 11 days since we've played. In the next hour before this game kicks off, we're getting you ready to go. Mike, Kellyn, how we feeling? Let's go.
Kick that one off, Kellyn. I don't even want to talk about it yet.
Come on.
All right, real quick. Apparently, in America, you have to have 1,000 followers to join someone's TikTok as a live guest.
Oh,
are you serious?
So I think Mike is just over 1,000.
Get your followers up.
Just
Kellyn.
over it.
Get your
Hey,
followers
we're
up.
at 5.4 thousand, baby. We're
There you
strong.
go. Who's like that? But yeah, no, I am not Kevin. I am an optimistic Bears fan, but today is just not a day where I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say, man. It's the Bears, and it's Monday night. It's prime time. It's a Bill Belichick guy. It's Bill Belichick against Justin Fields, who isn't a rookie anymore, but he's still going through those pains that a rookie quarterback goes through. So, color me not excited. I got practice for the game, which might save me. But maybe, there's a part of me that's going to be during practice, and it's like, I'm going to get out of practice. I'm going to check my phone. The Bears are going to be in it. Just Fields going to be having a good game. And then I'm probably going to look at my phone, and that's not going to be what's happening. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking the cautious route, Kellyn. You don't want to set yourself up for pain. I get it. Trust me, I do. But come on, Kellyn. The storylines are there. Like, this is the thing. Like, if this, like, compared to last week, right? There wasn't a lot of storylines that, like, the narratives weren't built. There was no changes to this team, but now you have not only the fact that it's Justin Fields versus Mac Jones. First time he's played Mac since the 2021 National Championship, Ohio State versus Alabama. Justin outplayed Mac in that game, in my opinion. Alabama was just a better team. Pete Werner covering Devonta Smith was not going to work no matter what year it was, no matter who was playing quarterback. All right, so we have that. And then we have a new restructured offensive line, which is now, I believe, to my knowledge, Braxton Jones left tackle, Michael Schofield left guard, Lucas Patrick center, Tevin Jenkins right guard, Larry Borom right tackle. New offensive line. N'Keal Harry is back. Velus Jones Jr. is fully healthy. You get some guys back on defense. The narratives are there. The storylines are there. I've never felt better. I'm in. The Bears are winning this game. Let's go.
The last time you said that, we lost to the Giants and we scored no touchdowns.
Listen, Kevin,
it's not my fault.
I love the optimism. I love everything except the N'Keal Harry statement. I told you that man could not get 6 feet of separation in a COVID-packed line at Jewel Osco. It's not happening. But I'll tell you what everybody didn't point out. Right now, horrible weather conditions in Foxborough.
Yeah.
Kellyn, I want to ask you something. The last time Justin Fields played in a rain game, what happened?
We won.
Now, it's not raining. It's not going to rain, though. The rain's done. The rain is over.
But it's okay because it was there. The field, the field preparation is
the conditions
horrible.
Are soaked.
And the last time Mac Jones played in bad conditions, he threw the ball 5 times. So I don't want to hear it. I'm riding on it.
I remember that.
Justin Fields, I'm counting on him tonight. It's going to be a big game. N'Keal Harry is going to have 0 impact, and I will stand 10 toes down on that. And I'll tell you what, money line under 1 yard for N'Keal Harry tonight, and I'll bank on it. I'm going to bank on it right now.
But Kellyn's bold prediction before this game was N'Keal Harry 5 catches, with the caveat that those 5 catches would equate to under 40 yards. So you guys are on completely opposite ends of the spectrum here. Kellyn, why are you so positive on N'Keal Harry?
I don't know if I would call it opposite. I just don't think his impact is really, going to be that good. I do think they're going to try and target him. Maybe there's a part that I'm guessing of Justin that is expecting N'Keal to kind of step up. and be at least some sort of second option or, whatever. It doesn't matter who the second option is at this point. They all just haven't gotten it done, whether it's Kmet, EQ,
They're all the same.
or Pettis. Yeah, I mean, they just haven't gotten it done. So maybe Justin is banking on that guy Nikhil being that second guy tonight, so they target him more. Maybe Getsy has seen something. I mean, when I went to Lake Forest, Nikhil Harry was getting reps with the starters, and he was getting a lot of reps, with the ones on a lot of targets. I'd say he was probably the second most targeted receiver outside of Darnell. And then we'll see what they do with Bayless Jones, man. They really – I don't know if it's because they don't trust him or they haven't seen enough from him, but they haven't let him out the cage. He's still kind of a puppy on a leash right now.
100%.
Yeah, and that's actually my big pick of the day is Bayless Jones Jr. anytime touchdown score. I think he's going to get in the end zone. I mean, you think about what they did last week, right? And if they really took the time, you have 11 days to prepare for this game, right? And sometimes it doesn't matter how much time you have when you're going up against Bill Belichick. It just might not matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
That guy's just so good at preparing, and that's what scares me about this game more than anything. Nothing that the Patriots do scares me from a talent or personnel aspect. But if you're a well-coached team, you can overcome that. They show it time and time again, and that's what scares the hell out of you. But if they really took that 11 days, and it looks like they did, they decided to make some changes. They were, receptive to change, and that's really, really good. That I think they're at least making the conceded effort to switch around the offensive line to say, hey, maybe we're going to get Bayless Jones Jr. and Nikhil Harry involved some way on offense. Well, if you're really going and doing a wholesale review, look back at what you did and what wasn't working in the red zone and change it and go back to what was working. And what worked against the Minnesota Vikings was that end around jet sweep to Nikhil Harry to Bayless Jones Jr. for the touchdown, right? Do more of those things. And now, you have a chance. Nikhil Harry isn't going to put up 100 yards in this game. Could he score a touchdown? Could he catch one ball for a touchdown because they get inside the 10? They say, hey, we're going to take our chance. Nikhil Harry, you have the storyline of it's a quote-unquote revenge game as Mike drops out for a quick second. A quote-unquote revenge game for Nikhil Harry going back to Foxborough. Is there a chance they give him a shot in the red zone? I think there is, Kellyn. So You have this time period. Do you think things are going to change, and do you think they're going to try some different things specifically in the red zone?
Yeah, no, they better. I think we said this on therapy. Things need to change for the sake of Luke Getsy's job. They have to start doing better. You know what I mean? Like things have to start getting better. So maybe there are more, like we said, targets for Darnell Mooney. Some of those plays that look like they were drawn up for Dante Pettis, they shouldn't be for Dante Pettis. You know what I mean? Like they should be for a guy like Darnell Mooney. And maybe now, you see. I don't know, just something different, something more creative. I think, play action in the red zone, it might not be the biggest thing tonight, but let's see if it is. I think play action all over the field, 100 yards up and down should be a bigger part of the offense, to be honest. But I hope so. I would love to see Cole Kmet get some red zone targets, not because I think Cole Kmet is a great red zone receiver, but just because I just don't know if we have anyone else that has proven it in that area of the field. Obviously, Nikhil Harry, we're talking about him now, but use those big receivers. Use a guy like Darnell Mooney who's twitchy. Use David Montgomery out the backfield. Be creative.
Yes.
One thing, and Matt Nagy was doing some cool stuff with Jakeem Grant last year. And again, like not to go back to last year, because we all don't want to talk about that. But there was a few things that they did in the red zone with Jakeem Grant. There was a few things they did up and down the field with a guy like Jameer Byrd. So maybe we should see more of those things. Not saying that those guys, we have the personnel that like that. Jakeem Grant was super explosive, super twitchy. But we'll see, man. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, obviously something needs to change, right? And I do think, again, it's funny when you go back and you look at that game against the Washington Commanders. You lose that game 12-7. I think we're 0-3 on trips inside the 10, right? You go back to the Giants game, you lose that game 20-12, another game where you were inept in the red zone. You take those two games. You score one touchdown in those games in either of those trips to the red zone. You probably come out winning both of those games. That flips your record from 4-2. I mean, the Bears are not far away from being a 4-2 football team when you look at those two games, or 5-1. I mean, again, it's more of an uphill climb to argue that, well, if Amir Smith-Marset didn't fumble the ball, they might go down scoring, get the two-point conversion and win in overtime. Yes, that's true, but they were rolling in that final fourth quarter of that game. I thought they were going to go down the field and score on that drive. So, you make a couple tweaks on offense, you score in the red zone a couple of times, the Bears could win this game. That, like, the thing people I think have to understand is I don't think you're going to see the Bears get boat raced in this game, right? We've said this week after week after week now that, this is the game the Bears get boat raced, right? This is Mike is back. This is the game, at first it was Green Bay. This is the game where the Bears get boat raced. They're not ready to face this type of competition. And then it was Minnesota, right? Oh, this is the game where they get boat raced, right? You're running into a red hot Minnesota team. There's no chance. And then, now they're really bad. Maybe they get boat raced by the New York Giants because they're looking really good, right? And it's all week after week after week. The Bears are going to completely fall apart, and they haven't done that yet. People have their criticisms of Matt Eberflus, and I don't know why, because it's way too early to have criticisms for a head coach. But you can have criticism, but it's way too early to be out on a head coach. But if there's one thing we know, and one thing that he's done really well, is keeping this team in games and not letting it get away from them. So when people, just throughout the week are saying, all right, the Bears are going to lose this game 31-10 because the Patriots, they're going to get boat raced, I would implore you not to think that way. Not just because I don't think the Patriots are that good of a football team, but I think the Bears are just good at keeping themselves in games.
Sure.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I think one of the big things too, and it's more so a thing about Matt, is where I don't think people are out on him, but I think it's a situation where not a lot of people see Matt. They don't see the work he puts in. Like the thing with Matt Nagy. Yeah. You don't see, like with Matt Nagy, you saw that man every single second on the sideline with the stat sheet in his hand, with every playbook in his hand, doing things. Now, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and that doesn't scream how effective you really are. That doesn't mean he's not doing things behind the scenes. Like Matt Eberflus is a coach first, and that's what it is. He's a head coach first. He's putting together a great roster slowly but surely. He's putting together people in the right position. Williams being the DC, obviously he's giving guys the availability to do what they need to do. Whether you believe in those guys or not, I applaud it, because it's one of those things where I hate when I see somebody who shouldn't be on the field, or calling plays. And it's one of those things where Matt is there and his presence is felt. And you could see it in guys like Eddie Jackson, who have become Bojack again. Super excited to see him doing his thing. Super excited to see Montgomery just rejuvenated. Roquan Smith is more hyped up. It's a lot more fun when you actually have guys involved. So we don't see Matt on day to day. And I think that's where the disconnect is with, and obviously you guys know how I feel about Brian Dable. You see this guy fired up, running around, jiggling everywhere, super excited.
Jiggling? Hold on.
Jiggling.
He's doing, what is he doing?
He's a big dude, man.
He's getting down. You saw him after that win? You saw?
I did.
Bro.
What is he doing?
He's running down. He's running out of the tunnel. He's looking at the fans. He's hyped up. Everything's exciting. Matt just doesn't have that pleasure yet because the roster itself is just not good. So we're going to get there. It's fine. I'm not out on Matt whatsoever, but I will say he's one of those guys you just don't see a lot. You see him in post-game, you see him in pre-game interviews, but during the game, the camera's just not on him. And your typical, average fan is going to be like, yo, where is this guy? But I think the work's being put in. I think he's doing his thing. But that's where, like, personally, that's where you see the disconnect. Because I saw Matt Nagy more than I saw Mitchell Trubisky on a day-to-day Bears game. That's just what it is.
Right. He works in silence. I can't also be the only one that sees the potential for Brian Dable to be Matt Nagy 2.0. Like I just, the bald head, let's start there. And then, kind of this false culture here. Like, because again, the same things existed with Matt Nagy. Really hot start in year one. Everybody falls in love with you. All of a sudden, when that happens, the thing that the hardest thing to do when that happens is, all right, you have now set expectations here for the next year. Right. And to meet those expectations is going to be very hard when you go 12-4 year one. And if they end up going 12-5 this year in New York, then next year you better be going 12-5 or better, because that's a standard you set year one. And it's really hard to meet that. So this is why, case in point, you don't get too head over heels about rookie head coaches after the first 7 weeks of the season. And now again,
Kevin, let's be real. Top 11 offensive line in 2018, number one defense, scored more touchdowns than most offenses in the league. I mean, that was just a reality. So there was a lot of things that went well. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky was a Pro Bowl alternative. I mean, there were so many things that went well that season. And, obviously we talk about it all the time. The gadget plays, Santa's sleigh, everything. Like it was a lot of fun. But with Dable, let's be real. I don't know where their offensive line ranks, but it's not great. The defense is not great. He's just doing doing things coaches should do. You know, whatever you have to do to get the win, that's what makes a good football team. I don't care how it looks. I don't care how sloppy it is. Good players and good teams get wins. And that's the difference.
Yep.
But by far, that's exactly why right now, Taylor Heineke, Zach Wilson, and Daniel Jones all have Aaron Rodgers' number, because that team is just they're not there to win. They're just guys by name, but together collectively, I don't see a culture. I don't see a scheme. I don't
tell him.
I don't see
Mike.
it. I don't see it. Now,
I don't see it either.
No, Keelan and I had a conversation about it with you a couple weeks ago too. Like Devontae
Kellyn?
Kellyn, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I read.
No, Keelan. How we doing, Keelan?
Oh, good, brother.
Oh, good, man. But it's one of those things. You know what it is? I've never met him in person, and that's how I do things.
I'm playing with you.
But in all seriousness, like Devontae Adams, shit's going south. Devontae's out there somewhere, and 9 times out of 10, Devontae's getting that ball, and that's just what it is. And the same thing with Patrick Mahomes. You know, there's times things aren't going well, and Tyreek's out there somewhere, or Travis is out there somewhere, and right now, you know, we're talking about Green Bay and why that's not succeeding, because Christian Watson's out there somewhere, but he's definitely not trying to catch that ball.
He ain't out there anywhere. What are you talking
he's not
about?
catching that. When he is out there, he's not catching that ball.
Yeah, no, I get it. Look, I mean, boy, oh boy, does it make you happy to see the Packers struggling. Let me tell you that. Protestant Stonehenge in the chat asking, is this Rodgers last year in Green Bay? I think so. I mean, I really do. Like, you know, they pitched the Last Dance thing last year, and then, you know, decide to come back this year for what, you know, you get all the money. It just doesn't, you know, and what I see happening is both Rodgers and Brady retire. Then they start like a dumb podcast and they talk about ayahuasca and divorce, and it's like the most entertaining thing of all time. Is that not seem like the exact thing that's going to happen? The Brady and Rodgers podcast.
It would be sick. Co-host Jeopardy together, doing psychedelics. Literally. It'll be the greatest.
Oh my God.
Literally
ever.
Something like that. Kellyn, I want to we talked about the offensive line, right? A little bit, and how that changes. And there was a little bit of chatter about it, and we got that confirmation about an hour ago from my guy Mark Grody from 670 The Score that it will be Lucas Patrick at center, and Sam Mustipher has officially been benched. How much realistically in your eyes does it change things? Like, how much does it change? I just saw you pump your arms a bunch of times, so that tells me that I don't think it's going to change things a lot. Like, be realistic. How much does it change things?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to sit here. I think the bigger change is moving Patrick to center.
Correct.
And obviously Mustipher being out. I think we all know that. But I don't know if I love the idea of Michael Schofield at left guard. You know, I got to trust Chris Morgan and that offensive staff, and that right now he is the guy. There are other options. There is Ja'Tyre Carter, obviously, and I don't think Leatherwood is working on the left side, but he is obviously an emergency. So they picked him up for a reason. He's still a first-round pick in his second year, and he was probably overdrafted, but he still had college tape that was starter level in the NFL. So I am kind of excited to see how that plays out. I'm not saying that he'll ever be something special, but Kevin, we had this conversation in the summer that Chris Morgan has one of the most important jobs in the entire organization, you know, and that is to develop offensive linemen, especially now that we have a quarterback that we are trying to build around thoroughly, and a quarterback that we know has the talent that we can build around, right? So I'm very excited, not excited. I'm very optimistic that in Justin's mind, again, just like how we talked about N'Keal Harry, in Justin's mind being a fresh start, somebody fresh, you know, that can make a difference. You know, hopefully that's what Justin is going to have on that offensive line, because protest at Stonehenge. I think that's how you say it.
Oh, is it protest at Stonehenge?
I think it's protest at Stonehenge.
It is.
I don't think Justin's playing scared. I just think it's a matter of, well, I'm sick and tired of taking hits, so let me just rely on my athleticism to get me yards. 100%. You know, because he has taken a lot of hits, and he's only 23 years old. So he's got a lot. He knows in the back of his mind he's got a lot of football left in him, but very well, you know, they could, you know, get him killed. You know, I mean, it's happened in the NFL, so he's just probably trying to avoid that. And I guarantee you that Luke Getsy is on the sideline telling Justin to trust himself, and if what Justin is doing is dropping his eyes right away, as much as I don't want to see him do that, if that's what he feels is best to keep himself safe, then, you know, God bless it. That's what he feels he has to do.
Right. And I think it's one of those things too, you know, I agree 110% with what you're saying. It's not going to be a huge impact, but it's going to be a difference maker. And I think a big part of that is Sam, and I mean this with all respect, did not understand situational football. I mean, Sam is out here. He needs to get that ball out quick. And Sam just He's looking down sometimes when he calls hike. He's looking off his release. He's looking at horrible. It's just horrible. All of it was horrible. I don't even know how much I can get into this because we have a game in less than an hour. So I don't have this isn't a Sam Rutherford hate club, but it's one of those things where I think we can trust Lucas to be able to give Justin at least a single second where the guy who's covering Lucas isn't in his face. Like Sam would not only hike the ball at the dirt, but then he completely blows his assignment. And the guy's just rushing fields off rip.
He has no play strength. No anchor,
not at all. Not at all. No situational awareness, nothing. And I think with Lucas, you kind of, I don't know. I maybe I'm too heavy on that 49ers game, which I wish Christian McCaffrey could have been a part of. It would have been sick to see. We kind of got robbed out of that if you bought tickets to it. So I feel bad.
Well, he played, but just not a lot, he didn't play enough. I had him on my fantasy team. Yeah.
No, I'm saying when the Bears played the 49ers.
I was like, what are you talking about?
If you remember that post game, in the interviews, and you remember in the locker room, how Lucas Patrick is on the field is insane. Right. He's so electrifying. He's one of those dudes that you want to go fight for. Like he's one of those dudes that is going to have your back. If somebody cheap shots Justin tonight, you can expect two guys to try to fight him, and that's Lucas Patrick and without a doubt Tevin Jenkins, because Tevin Jenkins gets down. Tevin Jenkins gets down, but I think Sam's just one of those guys, and I mean this with all respect. There's guys who go undrafted and they have great NFL careers, but Sam is one of those guys that throughout a stretch in 2020, we played Detroit twice, the Texans and the Jaguars, and he exceeded expectations, which weren't high expectations to begin with. Those were
as an undrafted rookie.
Some of the worst defenses in the league at that time, too, were those teams that we played. So Sam did great in those situational games, and he'll always have that. But it has been long overdue for Sam Mustipher to get off this team.
Absolutely. Yeah, and again, I think what you're going to see tonight, why I think this could be sort of a career night for Justin Fields, I'll put it that way. I really do. Why? Because I get you hopeful, I get you optimistic.
You make me so excited, and then I watch it, and then we're going to be here 2.5 hours from now, and we're going to be like, no, Kevin, it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
Not tonight. Not tonight. You want to know why? Because again, so many times, guys, be honest, when you watch other games around the NFL, all right, and you watch a clean pocket and you see quarterback make your throw, don't lie to me. You know what goes through your mind at that moment is Justin can make that throw. If Justin was given the time, he can make that play. You know what I mean? Sure. He just doesn't get the opportunities to make those types of plays. He doesn't get a clean pocket with the ability to show off his arm strength to fit a ball into a tight window. He hasn't to this point this season really been given a full opportunity to show what he can do as a passer on the run, because they're not rolling him out as much, not doing a whole lot of play action and bootlegs and getting him in a position where he can show off his incredible athleticism, not just as a runner, but as a passer on the run. Everyone remembers that iconic throw from Pro Day that Kellyn recreated on his Twitter page, the one where he's rolling left and he, is throwing back foot off balance to a guy 65 yards down the field, right? Like he's capable of doing those things. Far. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
64.
No, you threw it for like 50. You were slinging that 45, thing.
50.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty impressive. But if they give him a clean pocket tonight, which I think they will, again, like what scares you on the Patriots defensive line? Like if you look at the Commanders, right? I mean, this was a defensive front that I don't think enough people talked about beforehand, had been getting top 5 pressure in the league. Jonathan Allen was destroying dudes. I knew that matchup was going to be a nightmare for the Chicago Bears. Montez Sweat had been one of the highest graded pass rushers off the edge in the league up to that point.
And he played like it.
And he played like it. He exposed Braxton Jones, right? You do have a very, very good player, Matthew Judon, on the other side of the ball. Aside from that, if you are smart enough to say, hey, keep Cole Kmet on the side of Matthew Judon and chip him and don't allow him to take over the game like Montez Sweat did last time, and scheme him out of the game to a certain extent, you're going to be just fine. I mean, what else do the Patriots do defensively that scares you, right? I mean, they got some promising young rookies in Jack Jones, and then they got obviously Devin McCourty still there in the backfield, but they're banged up on defense as well. I got to go back to the injury report, but they're missing a couple of starters there on the defensive side of the ball. This is your opportunity now to with the new offensive line, to give Justin Fields some time in the pocket and just show what he can do, with when he gets time, right? And if that happens, you're going to start to see every single narrative be erased tonight. Every single narrative that, he's not a pocket passer, he's not poised in the pocket. All it takes is Kellyn alluded to this, right? And it's so true. And not enough people talk about what's going on in his head in the pocket. If you put yourself in the shoes of Justin Fields, would you stand there and wait to get hit, or would you escape the pocket quicker than most other quarterbacks in the league do, given your situation? Yes, you would escape the pocket quicker than most other quarterbacks in the league because you're afraid of getting, destroyed. And it's not just this year; it was last year as well. And the ramifications of that still exist to this day from what happened last year. So, look, this if they give him time, all these narratives are going to be erased. He's going to get more comfortable. Give him 2 drives. If they give him 2 drives, a relatively clean pocket, all of a sudden, Kellyn, am I right that confidence just goes from here to here? If it's just a couple of drives where you feel comfortable in that pocket, boom, you're feeling good the rest of the game. So it needs to happen quick. Again, the game kicks off in about 45 minutes. I honestly am at a point, I said this last week, and I'll say it again, and it almost happened last week. I hope they win the toss and defer. I hope we get the ball first. Make a statement. The only way you're going to win this game is if you get the ball first, you make a statement on that first drive, you generate some confidence, you generate a rhythm, and you go from there. That's the only possible way you win this football game, in my opinion.
I think it's one of those things, though, too, and I don't know. I think it's a very risky statement to say that this defense isn't worrisome. I think right now they are excelling expectations to what they had going into this year.
Yeah. I mean, they shut out the Lions, but the Cowboys basically.
Facts. But like the secondary, the worries for the secondary was huge going into this season, and they actually look a lot better. And Jack's a big part of that. But I mean, at stopping the pass, they've been great this year. They've been great this year by far. Stopping the run is really where I feel like we could really excel right now, and we're averaging 170 yards running the ball a game.
Second in the league in rushing yards per game.
Yeah, this is where we need to hit. And I never call for guys' jobs, especially in year one. But if Luke Getsy does not use that as the blueprint for tonight,
I'm with you.
No, you think they run the ball tonight, Kellyn?
You need to run the ball tonight.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean, I hope so.
New England, 17th in the league in opponent passing yards per game. They're a pedestrian pass defense. They're pedestrian. You're not scared.
I hope that the run game is more of a no. I hope the pass game is much more of a complement to the run game than it has been in the past. Because in the past they've been 2 separate entities every week.
Correct.
Except maybe freaking Minnesota, maybe.
Right.
But we haven't seen that the play action. We haven't seen Justin use his feet off of the wide zone action. Yeah, we haven't really seen that stuff. It should be happening more because the ball. You should find ways to get the ball out quicker so he doesn't take hits. You should find ways to get him on the move so that if the throw isn't there, he can take off and slide or throw the ball away. Him standing back there is a recipe for disaster in some cases. And I hope tonight is different with the shift at O-line and just in general. I hope they play better. But there needs to be more catering to your franchise guy, and there hasn't been enough of that.
Without a doubt.
I agree with that. And you look at the Patriots run defense now 19th in the league, tied for 19th in the league, allowing 119 rush yards per game. Again, this is a pedestrian defense from a statistical standpoint. You can do some things. But I think if this is just because I want to be proven right about where I stand with Justin Fields, I want them to throw the ball 30 times in this game. I want them to throw the ball 35 times, but I think that's what Kellyn means when you say, complement with the run game. Well, don't do one or the other, be a good balanced offense and do that. But man, I'm waiting for this time for and I've been saying it for weeks, but I didn't always.
It'll happen. It might not be tonight, Kevin, but it'll happen. You know what I mean?
The breakout game.
I hope it is tonight. But you got to think even back to college, Justin played some of his best games coming off of his quote unquote worst.
Yes.
After that Indiana game, the Michigan, then they had Michigan State, and in the Northwestern game, then they went to Clemson, right? And in that Michigan State game, he was very cautious to not make mistakes because the week before he'd only thrown 2 interceptions all of 2019, then he threw 3 in one game in 2020, and you could tell he just did not want to make mistakes. He didn't want to put the ball in the hands of the other team. He didn't want to turn the ball over, and then obviously, like I just said, the 6 touchdowns against Clemson. So eventually it's going to happen, and maybe he has to go through some more growing pains. And I like I said, I pray to God it's not, because I don't want to see it anymore. But that's the reality of the situation that we as fans and that the Chicago Bears team is in. They don't have a great football team built around him on the offensive side right now.
Right. And I think that's the problem too, is and you know what? God bless him. because it's such a hard situation to come into when you're so used to failure as a franchise and as a fan base. Like, you want Justin to be this guy right now, but you're not giving him the benefit of the doubt to actually develop. And that's one of the things is Bears fans are so tired. They're so exhausted of just, watching this poverty type franchise when we're one of the best football teams in the world. It's just super exciting. No, 100%. We have the best fan base. We have the best culture. Without a doubt. And we've been used and stuck with this for the last 15 plus years. And I'd say the early 2000s was pretty nice. I ain't going to sit here and act like it's been the last 30. But it's something.
Okay, we were sipping on sippy cups in the early 2000s.
It don't matter. Devin Hester, while we were sipping on sippy cups, Devin Hester was out there being that dude. So I don't want to hear that. Sure. But in all seriousness, I just want this kid to be able to develop. And I think one of the biggest things, Kevin, you hit on it when you covered Ohio State as much as you did. If you watch him in games against, and I mean this in all respect, legitimate college football defenses that are this close to being an NFL.
Brett Venables defense.
Yeah, we're not talking about Northwestern. We're not talking about any of the other teams. We're talking about teams like Clemson, teams like Alabama. When you see Justin make these deep ball throws, it's in an RPO. It's in where he's running out. And that's where you're going to see a 65-yard bomb from him. If you keep him in the pocket, like you guys have been talking about, it's something right now. You're not going to see that, especially with the personnel that we have. There is no Stephon Diggs on this team where Justin can lay in the pocket and just whip it down. Like, we need RPOs with Bayless. I can't speak on N'Keal Harry. I think that man needs a stick to be able to create separation, but it's all right. We're going to see how tonight goes. And if we're here in the post game, I will apologize if he gets more than 10 yards. Game. I will buy his jersey. I'll tell you that live right now. If he gets more than 10 yards tonight, I will buy his jersey.
Mike, I regret to inform you probably can't find that jersey anywhere.
It's definitely going to be a custom order.
I would highly, yeah.
That thing is going to be coming on a boat from China.
100%.
Yeah, that's exactly what
it's going to come from DH Gate. It's going to be about $20, and it's going to be a great jersey. It's going to be,
and it's going to have the Patriots logo on it. It's not even the right jersey. No, what I want to say too, and Kellyn, I'll leave it. I'll leave you. I'll give you your closing statement after this, and then you got to head out of here. The reason why I'm so eager for this to be the night that Justin Fields succeeds is, the Bears have been lucky enough, if you want to call it that, to be on prime time all of these weeks in the early going of the season. And this is their last primetime game of the year. This is it. Noon games. Yeah, thank God it is right, because we don't want to get embarrassed. But at the same time, like, this is Justin's last chance to show the country I'm him. You know what I mean? Because
can I ask you both a question, by the way? Because I've been talking to other Bears fans on Twitter. Hey guys, how was your last 2 Sundays? Like, it was a peaceful Sunday of football, man. There was no pressure. There was
but you miss the Bears. Don't lie. You kind of miss.
You miss them, but then when you see them, you're like, it's like your toxic ex. You're like, damn, I should text her. Then you text her, and it's like, This is why I hate you.
Yeah. That's good. Kellyn, what do you think? Closing statement. Come on, is this the night?
It's been pretty peaceful. Is this the night? God, I hope so. But like, it's Belichick at the end of the day, man. Like, we're playing against the Patriots in the Belichick coach defense. So, God, let's say this, Kevin. Let's say this. If it is the night, there should be no doubt about that. This is a guy going forward. Now, you can have your criticisms. You can go back and say, he should have done this. He should have done this. We got to improve at this, because that's just natural. That's what you do. Everyone needs to improve at something. But if it happens tonight against Bill Belichick in Foxborough on Monday Night Football, Justin Fields is a guy I don't want to hear it. Now, do I think that's going to happen? It's probably low chances, because it's the NFL. It's hard. But if it is, like, oh man, listen, if the Bears win tonight, call me. Doesn't matter if you do it. If you're going at 1:00, I'm getting on the fucking post game, man. Let me know.
Go. Right? We're doing post game. We're doing post game. Are you in on post game? Only if you win. Only if you win. Okay. What if it's an ugly loss? What if it's an ugly loss? What if we need to?
What if it's an ugly win? Are you coming?
Oh fuck yeah! A win is a win against the Patriots in Foxborough.
Like, are we talking like a Texans level win? Like this, like that same thing?
We're talking Washington versus Packers type win.
Oh, that's a great win.
Like an amazing win, kind of iffy towards the end, but at the very end we get it done.
I'm gonna get on regardless.
Let's go.
N'Keal Harry with 115 yards and 2 touchdowns.
There you go, Mike.
If we lose by 50, Kellyn's gonna show up regardless of N'Keal Harry does that. That's for sure. Kellyn, appreciate you. We'll be on here later. Yeah, have a good practice.
All right, man.
That's Kellyn Gerenstein. We will be here after the game. Mike, I guess we'll be here too, right? Are you going to bed? Come on, you got things to do tomorrow. Come on.
Hey man, listen, I have an 8 a.m. class, but it's English 102, which to all my English majors, shout out to you. But we do not care. It is Bears Football Monday. We are gonna be here. I'm excited. It's gonna be dope.
Let me tell you right now, we do not care.
We do not care.
I gotta say this right. Protest at Stonehenge says if they win, we're all doing Jaeger bombs. All right, I'm in.
I'm there.
Protest at Stonehenge. You know what? Actually, if we win, I'll put this on the record right now. Put us in a protest at Stonehenge. If we win, all right, you're coming on. We're giving you the link to StreamYard. Protest at Stonehenge is coming on, and he's doing a Jaeger bomb on the show. And I'll drink a beer or something. All right, if we win. All right, so protest at Stonehenge. If you're listening, if you're still in the chat, we're going to give you the link if we win, and you are going to come on the show and do a Jaeger bomb. And he says yes, exclamation point, exclamation point. And at that point, the views will probably be popping because people get excited when the Bears win, and people will come into this stream. This is the tough thing about content creation is when the Bears are bad, the content, like the views and the engagement just goes down because people don't care enough. So we got to get the people back in. Shane M is in the chat. What's up, buddy? But we are going to head out of here. You guys can watch us. We're going to go live on TikTok real quick. So if you don't follow us on TikTok, you can follow me at Bears Nation Podcast and then Mike at, what is it, WNBA.Mike?
Cubs.Mike. We switched it up. We're out of season.
You switch up like every day. But nonetheless, be here post-game. Bears Nation Podcast. We will be here breaking it down myself, Kevin Lapka, alongside Mike Hughes and Kellyn Gerenstein. Immediately, maybe not immediately, but a little bit after the game, we will be here. Win or lose. I'm going to be here win or lose. Mike might not be here. Kellyn might not be here. I will be here win or lose because I'm here for the culture.
I'll be late. I'll need a minute.
Mike will he'll need a minute. No, will you? Because you're not even expecting a win. So I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of this. I need a minute.
If the game ends with a touchdown in the end zone with a N'Keal Harry drop, I'll need a minute.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll need a minute in that case as well. Yeah. All right. We're going to head out of here. Again, you guys can catch us on TikTok live here for the next 30 minutes of the game. If not, be here post-game. For myself, Kevin, for Mike Hughes, and for Kellyn Gerenstein, who is now on his way to football practice, this has been your Bears Nation Podcast, Bears-Patriots Monday Night Football pregame show. We'll see you guys next week.